And recording.
Alrighty. La-di-do, la-di-da, la-di-dee-doo-da. Man, music is awesome. But a lot of times when you gotta get some of the best pieces out there, you gotta go through a lot of work and a lot of pain to get the best that you can. Today, I'm gonna look at the man Beethoven. Now, Beethoven is one of the most iconic artists out there when it comes down to the classical and romantic period. However, I want to look at three important parts and aspects of his life. First of all, I want to look at his early childhood. Then I'm going to look at his life when he started becoming deaf and when he started actually producing some of his best works as well. And last but not least, I want to look at the time period of when he's actually been dead and how much that in fact is affecting us today. So for the first part here, I really want to look at Beethoven's early childhood. Now, when he was a kid, a lot of times, he just kind of was like his house, he went to school, did all those kind of things. However, he had a very abusive dad that happened to be a very pounding kind of a guy that wants to teach him how to play the piano. Now, when he taught him how to play the piano first time ever, he was extremely strict, extremely brutal, extremely mean about it too. And a lot of times when he did that, he'd be playing along and take the stick and go, "Ah, you messed up." So he ended up despising playing the piano. In the long run, he just kind of despised it. He tried going along with it. His dad forced him to keep doing it. And a lot of times you kind of just wonder, how the heck is this guy so brilliant and such a big genius, but has such a horrible background? Well, a lot of times it's because of that horrible background that it allows for someone to create the best works. And not only that, but can sometimes cause for deafness and other problems as well. Now in his later life, when he made his best pieces, Symphony No. 9, for example, probably one of the most elegant pieces that he has ever made in his time period that he had worked on. One of the important parts about it was that it was a big connection piece that connected the romantic to the classical time period, or my bad, the other way around, the classical to the romantic time era of music. It was one of the biggest distinctions in the Western area that allowed them to actually see and interpret what that kind of time area difference is. By creating his different individual pieces that are currently, even today, super important and are still having its own effect, we can still look back and see that that has made a huge impact on what made him super famous and what made him known as this amazing composer. Not only that, but during his time, he ended up going deaf. A lot of the time, people have blamed it on the fact that he played too hard, to the fact that he was in a room where he didn't have a good hearing, or even that it was just a natural birth defect that he just gradually started having over time. However, one of the things that we have to realize, though, is that even though he went deaf, in his own occupation, he still fought to keep on going with what kind of thing he loves to do when it comes down to music, to composing, and teaching others as well. Believe it or not, one time he composed a piece with a huge orchestra of about 59 people. And not only that, but he did it without being able to hear a single beat. The only reason why he was able to do it was because he knew the song by heart. However, in his childhood, leading up to what he's actually become known as this amazing musician, still has affected us even to the time, even after he's dead, and to the day of today. That was back in the 1770s when he was a huge composer, when he was a huge known person that connected everything and made some of the most magical pieces around. However, to this point today, people are still studying his amazing pieces that people have noticed and created. This is a huge important factor for a lot of people today. The people that are trying to realize how somebody with so many problems and hardships and issues in their life was still able to use the amazing music and amazing instruments that he's been able to do. In the long run, his music is immortal. People call it as the music that just won't end, the music that doesn't die. And it hasn't. It's still important to today. So in conclusion, I've talked about the amazing pianist, Beethoven, and how he's pretty much one of the best composers out there, just even though he's been through some of the hardest hardships in his childhood life, also due to the fact that, he may have some problems in hand, but he can become one of the most creative men out there too. And not only that, but the impact is still alive today. His music is immortal. We can still hear it in the background every day. Thank you.